What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another special, actually, on the Nature's Jewels channel. This is Mr. Crawling coming at you, and I wanted to talk about some things that you come across in the ball python trade. Now, I love all my animals, and I'm very happy to have them. And sometimes when you're getting into the ball pythons and you're wanting to breed them and stuff like that, typically what you're shooting for is trying to get a morph of that animal in your collection. So usually you're looking like for a double morph or a triple morph, even if you have a little bit more money to spend. And sometimes you have to sacrifice what I would consider quality over something that's not as quality. Okay, here in my hands we have two of my beautiful boys. Neither one of them ate. All my girls ate, otherwise I'd be able to take some of them out. But as a comparison, my boy Theo over here, he is what I would consider, in my opinion, one of the best looking leopards that I have ever seen. He has the real busy pattern, a lot of spotting, very jet black against the alien head browns and golds that he has going on. He even has, I actually refer to it as Sid the Sloth. I don't know if you could get that in the shot there, but I just think it's hilarious because it totally reminds me of Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. But he is what I would consider a very high quality leopard. And like I said, I love all of my animals, but there is a difference. And if you're looking at producing snakes in the future, obviously what you want to do is either breed them out, get the genetics, and then breed them out and hold on to the highest quality animals that you produce, which is the nice thing about being a breeder, or even a hobbyist breeder, which is what I would like to consider myself, even though I've never bred ball pythons before. Not on purpose anyway. I had a clutch once a long time ago, but that's a whole nother video. Now, over here, I have an orange dream pinstripe. Now, he's a double gene animal, so it makes him much more valuable to my collection. But I wouldn't consider him a high quality animal there's actually a couple reasons. Theo over here is an excellent feeder when he's not in breeding mode. He's got excellent coloration, amazing personality, and in just all in all a great animal. And this was actually from Mark Picos or Petros or something like that. He lives in Illinois. So Mark, once again, you did a phenomenal job, and you have great animals. And I know you work with Garrick DeMeyer a lot as well. And I'm always going to throw Garrick's name out there because I'm just so happy with him and all the help he's been to me. But this is one of Mark's animals here. Now, this is one of Garrick's animals, but like I said, as a breeder, you're not going to want to sell that amazing animal. So he's an orange dream pinstripe, and I'm going to set him down so you could just keep it in frame there for a second. I'm going to set Theo down here for a second. Don't mind the mess here. But if I was a breeder like Garrick, and I'm sure he has, you would keep the really clean pinstripe orange dreams. And what I mean by that is you'd get a snake that doesn't have a lot of this, I don't know, this kind of dirty or dark markings along the back here. You look for an animal that has this really nice clean pattern. So I got a 50-50 animal. Pardon me. Not gonna lie, for the price I paid and working with Garrick and him knowing me and giving me these really good hookups, this is a great animal to have in my collection. But he's not what I would consider a fantastic animal by any means because of for the markings on his body. I love his pinstripe markings. I love the orange dream on the back half of his tail. You can see, here's another reason. You can see just in that shot there, he is a little jumpy. He is not as personable, and I like all of my animals to be very handleable. I like if I'm going to a school or something like that, or even, you know, I would trust these animals around my children to let them handle, under adult supervision, of course.
Well,
but you can see he's a little jumpy.
Gotta take a break here just for a second. Sorry.
All right.
I had to grab Theo.
Theo was starting to crawl off the bed. Thank you. So he is a little jumpy. He doesn't have the ideal coloring that I would like to have in an orange dream pin. But I'm sure his sons and daughters will, for sure. And the other thing about him is that he's not a really strong feeder. He happens to be what we refer to in the hobby as a drop feeder. So what that basically means is he will not strike feed. He has never, well, no, actually, changed that. A week ago he did strike feed for the first time ever. And I've had him for about a year and a half or so now, something like that. But those are all things that do not make him what I would consider a very, very high quality animal. He's a great animal for genetics. I'm very proud to have him in my collection. But this is an example of what I would not consider a very high quality animal. Like I said, I love him nonetheless. He's got a near and dear place to my heart. And I will always have him in my collection, especially being a small reptile keeper myself, having a small collection of ball pythons. All these beginner ones, you know, all my starters, they will forever hold a near and dear place in my heart, and I will always keep them. But I just wanted to do a little video so you guys could know back home, if you are thinking about getting into the hobby and you are thinking about being a contender in the big scheme of things, looking for high quality animals is definitely the way you're going to want to go. Because besides appealing to your the general public for purchases, what you're really going to want to appeal to are either other breeders or future breeders to keep this beautiful line of snake going and thriving and just creating the best that we can possibly do for their species.
Did you want to compare again?
So yeah, let's do another little comparison here. So like I said, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, for another little comparison, this leopard is what I would consider an A++ animal, or what I'll be referring to in my my hatchlings in the future as maybe an S1, or the very high quality animal, versus Odie over here, who I would consider an S2 to S3, S3 being probably the very lowest, but because he is a 50% A++, you know, he's a 50% S1, he would probably be what I would consider an S2 for quality. And so they would be priced based on that. So you could still, like, for example, say you get a leopard that's would be an S1 from me in the future. That might be a $250 animal, versus a leopard that would be like an S3 that I would probably price around like $75. So that's a pretty big difference. But if you just want the gene in your collection, that's what you would get. You know, you'd have the gene in your collection, but it wouldn't be the bang for your buck, so to speak. And I always recommend going to the reptile shows and checking them out and seeing the animals for yourself, so you can get to know their personality, feel them in your hands, make sure they're healthy, they got good weights, you got feeding records from the breeder, and that they are the quality that you're looking for. Thank you for joining me here on another episode on Nature's Jewels. This is Mr. Crawlings, signing out.